Alright, so in this one, I want to go over balance and power creep. Now, I'm not going to mention, the devil's name of FSK, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, all these broken characters, because that's not part of what this is about. This is about how characters have aged and their balance. This is more relating to the 1PM video where I showed off Purple Cooler, and I was thinking, whoa! For someone that's almost 2 years old, if not 2 years old already, he's aged pretty damn well for defenses, and his kit is actually pretty similar to LF Future Gohan, obviously without the, cover in on blast, yada yada yada. Overall, his kit's very similar to what it can do for his allies, for himself, how it makes him look. And I'm curious to just look over these units and see how well they actually aged. Now, I'm not going to go over most of these that are kind of like, already mid on release, kind of like, I don't know, Turles, was mid on release, so obviously he probably hasn't aged the most graceful, but, most of these units, I think actually probably will have aged well. To start looking, we're going to look at 2nd anniversary, because I feel like a lot of units pre that, just to look at it, right? Let's give, for example, Sin Shenron. Well, Sin Shenron was ass on release. Baby Vegeta, pretty mid on release. Super Saiyan God Goku, pretty good for about a few weeks, and then people realize that he does no damage and he doesn't tank that well. All these other units, they're just not that good that were before 2nd year anniversary. I feel like 2nd year anniversary is where they found their stride of okay, these units can be a run nowadays. And you know what? I just want to see how it is. So look at it. It was Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Omega, Trunks, Zamasu, and Vegito Blue, obviously. So to look, and we can even look at Kefla, which pretty fucking great aging unit. You could even say she's better than Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta at this point. But Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I used him recently. I mean, did he disappoint me? He does okay damage, so not terrible. Red Omega's a discussion, right? Red Omega is, in my opinion, better than the Yellow Nova from this anniversary, and probably GT's 2nd best strike-based unit, because obviously you have the Zenkai GT Goku, but Red Omega can still do work. Green card's a quick animation, and it locks in just like Corrupted Zamasu. Again, they gave these units very good things that units nowadays have, and it's where the fuck? They're literally the same thing, but it's good, right? It's not something that's abhorrently busted. Obviously, Zamasu goes neutral on his, Omega just locks in, but all those attribute downgrades, I guess you could say, bleed, paralyze, poison, he gives all of those, and he has a chance to give all of those. I think the more Shadow Dragons or something, then the more balls he has, the more damage he does. Omega's really, really good. Blue card's a quick animation too. He's a very good unit that has aged. One of the most gracefully aging units in this game, honestly. I would never, be laughing at somebody if they're like, oh my god, I'm going to bring in this Omega on my GT team. I'd be not worried, but, if I see, I don't even fucking know. If I see Baby Vegeta, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, he's going to shit on me. If I see Omega, I'm like, oh, okay, definitely unique, maybe it can work out. With, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and, I don't know, the Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku. That's a good purple, red, blue color synergy setup that could actually work out that strike base. And I think Omega could actually look pretty good on that. Rage Trunks, I don't think he's aged bad. I know, he has that cut, and that's great, but that's all he really has. But besides that, I mean, his ultimate, I think his main cancels enemy buffs. And there used to be a thing that people do. It wouldn't even be to land the ultimate, right? You would pop the main on them before they rushed you. So let's say you knew your Trunks was going to get rushed. Okay, you swap into your Trunks, you pop his main, you cancel their attribute upgrades, then typically, even off cover, this Trunks could have lived the rushes. Damage-wise, he's, I don't know, a similar unit to it. He wants to get hit to do more damage, right? A similar vein to that is Majin Vegeta, who wants to get hit to tank better. There is no one really that has this same mechanic as this guy that I could think of, at least, because they're not notable, they're not good enough. While this Trunks isn't the greatest, I do think he is still runnable, and if your opponent isn't aware of tap attacking him is an issue, letting him cover in is a problem, then he can still do good damage. There's no negative to him. And by the way, only Sparkings, EXs were never too shineful in this game until recently with, you know, these new ones. And maybe free-to-play ones, but we'll continue. Zamasu. Merge Zamasu, again, these units don't age badly, especially anniversary units. Maybe this anniversary they probably will, but these that we had last year, even the year before, have not aged terribly at all. Zamasu, I mean, powerful opponent, not really going to run him. Future, not going to run him. But he is a decent tank. He is better when the opponent has one character alive, I believe. His ultimate does more damage when there's one opponent alive. So he's better against last man standing units, which is actually very important because there's a lot of last man standing in the meta. He takes a little bit to ramp up, but if you pop a couple greens, you reduce their ki, you fuck with them a little bit, you're going to do good damage. You're going to do decent damage at least, and he's still valuable. Again, these are units that are over a year old, and units who should have pretty high stars because they've been on so many damn banners. After anniversary, obviously the anniversary units just appear everywhere, right? Vegito Blue, the LF of the year, that year. Well, yeah, he's still, I mean, thinking about it, right? Future, the best strike-based Future unit. Obviously, Trunks is the best blast-based, the Zenkai 7. Fusions, he's still meta. He's still the blue unit you're going to use. For strike-based, at least. You could use Transforming Gogeta, sure, but strike-based fusions, which was, like, what? Gogeta Blue, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Red Gogeta, and Vegito Blue. That's a better setup than a blast-based fusions team. At least for now, until, like, Yellow Vegito Zenkais or something, right? And then, that's the only teams you're really going to run him on, right? You're not going to run him on Saiyans. He could do okay. He's just, he has the infinite cards that he always draws. That'll never be bad. Like, maybe the damage won't scale as perfectly as it does now, but the damage Vegito Blue can still do on top of farming Rising Rush at this point, and his green card canceling all their buffs. I mean, he's very good. Blast Armor on strikes. Blue card, lock in, so it's a long animation. Ultimate nullifies endurance and nullifies special cover change. That was literally, by the way, if you guys don't know, and you guys didn't play back then, his ultimate nullifies special cover change, not because of anybody, like, that's new now, like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, so we can't IT it. No, that's because of Purple Bojack. Purple Bojack was such a menace that he could cover change on anything, because he can cover change on anything. Now, there's so many units that nullify cover change, it doesn't matter, but they gave Vegito Blue that ultimate, that specific nullify special cover change for like 3 counts on it, on usage of it, because of Purple Bojack, so we couldn't cover in and just say no to that. Because Purple Bojack is one of the better aging units that are not from second anniversary. He just covering in, taking what, 15-20% damage is very much worth it when Vegito Blue probably would have soloed your entire team. Right, very good. Krillin, so look at the EXs. Yeah, Krillin is pretty good. Red Gogeta was actually probably the best EX in the game for a good while there. Yeah, he was literally like sparking Red Gogeta, just a baby version of it. And he supported, I think. That's not bad. Tien is pretty mid. Yamcha is the best of the 3 free-to-play units. Because, yeah, he has that lock-in. Lock-in and good blast damage, honestly. Yamcha's really damn good. I'm surprised I didn't see Super Warriors run more often when he came out. He was really fucking... He's still really usable. Like, again, these units have aged well, and power creep is not a thing that really affects this game in that big of a circumstance. Maybe the teams are power crept, but the units... Most of these units are not power crept. Red Pycon, he was dealt a bad hand. I don't think he's terrible. It's just that he came out with Vegito Blue, and it's like, well, you have a lock-in blue card, and if I get hit with Red Pycon, who's fragile, what am I going to do? I'm dead. There's nothing I can do about it. It sucks, but that's the situation. So he came out bad timing. I do think he's okay. I don't think he's that great nowadays. He just suffers from the issue of no teams and red when a blue LF that dominated for 6-7 months of the game existed, right? Like, he couldn't counter out Vegito Blue. You saw him every match because it's anniversary. Everyone summoned. Everyone has him. You couldn't counter him out. Super Kaioken Goku, he was very good. This guy is still pretty goddamn good. Again, these are units that, they don't age, right? Some of these units, sure, we'll go through them. Most of these units that are near anniversary / part of anniversary celebration, all the way up to, I think it's up until Red Super Saiyan Blue Goku there, haven't aged, like, at all. If barely any, like, it's honestly crazy. Super Kaioken, obviously a Super Saiyan. He didn't really suffer the Super Saiyan effect because Bardock wasn't a Zenkai yet. He very good, right? He could faint on his ultimate. He could get endurance. If you pop his green when you're below 30% HP, he had good sustain because of that, and he had good damage. There was no like negative to him. He was just very good. Everyone liked him. Purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, I still think he's like optimal on a blast-based future. Let's say you run Blue Trunks and Green Rose, and you run Purple SSB. Your Blue Trunks, your Green Rose are gonna hit like madmen because Purple Super Saiyan Blue supporting for how good he does support. Then he swaps out, gives them a card as well. It's really fucking good. Given his damage does fall off after 50 counts, he has death buffs removing 3 of their balls, and I think restoring your health if you're Future or Vegeta family. I mean, Future, right? Future's a tag that's always going to be pretty goddamn relevant. Maybe nowadays it's not the best tag, but if it's Dragon Ball Super, usually the game caters to it. You're looking at Rival Universe getting better and better, God Key getting better and better. These are teams that are Dragon Ball Super only, basically, for most part, and they're becoming better teams by the minute of every single buff with Topo, with anybody, right? These are teams that are going to be good. So, that Vegeta aged perfectly. He's, in my opinion, going to be the best aging unit in the game. I know Yellow Cell holds that title for beyond time because he aged phenomenal. Right? This guy was great, not even good, just great for 2 years. Like, you could run this guy up until, I mean, near FSK's drop, and he was still like viable. Like, there's no bad thing about Yellow Cell, but I do think this Vegeta, with how good he supports, given his damage does fall off pretty quickly, he can still help you out in a lot of circumstances. Red SSB Goku, I think he fell off. He's the first one I think I could say that fell off, right? Maybe Rage Trunks, but this Goku for sure. Strike-based teams just aren't a thing that often anymore. You look at everyone else down here, besides Vegito Blue, Zamasu's Blast, Rage Trunks Blast, Super Saiyan 4 Goku Blast. Omega has a strike-based build with GT that actually works out. Future strike-based is a thing, but you need LS on that. You can't use this Goku. He can't supply green cards because he just draw one on main for like Zamasu or something, but why would you run 2 reds together? This guy definitely fell off. He does have good, I think, last man standing abilities to actually, you know, win, and his blue card does hit really damn hard if you pop a green card before it, but he's the first one that I could say has definitely fallen off from when he released, because when he released, this guy, he would 1v3 you if you, like, knew how to play. And you had that Goku Vanish Restore equip, and maybe, like, the Awakened equip when Goku's fighting the androids, that strike melee-based equip, and then, like, a double strike attack equip for him that's red. This guy could hurt, and hurt badly. His blast sucked, but his strikes hit different, and that was a problem to deal with. Honestly, purple, red, and blue with LFVB there was a very dominant setup that could have worked out. I'm not even sure if we saw it often, but think about it now. That setup probably would still work today with purple Super Saiyan Blue, red Super Saiyan Blue, and Vegito Blue. Like, they could hit. ROC Goku, I never liked him. That banner was just mid on release. I never really thought Turles much of anything. I think he's the only support for powerful opponent, and that's all I think of him now. ROC Goku, I didn't like him. Basically, he wants to get hit, and then the more he does hits, the more he gets hits, the stronger his blue card. And I don't like that one-time gimmick type of thing. It's like, if FSK could only do his insane damage on his ultimate, he wouldn't be as notable as he is, right? That's kind of what this Goku is. He can only do insane damage on his blue card. That's his only notable trait. Sure, he heals after a certain percentage of health is gone, but it's like, you're not healing enough, you're not doing enough, you're just kind of existing, and it's not desirable to even use you. So, those two, I just didn't think were good on release, and I'm pretty sure most people would agree with that. And we're not going to go over, like, every single unit, by the way. We're just going to go over, like, kind of more to recency to where we are now. It's like, obviously these units aren't power skilled, but we'll probably go until we reach the power skilled units that are nowadays, which is 3rd anniversary, right? Bootanks and Gohan. Bootanks was shit. You know, you never saw him be impressive. Basically, he does good damage for not even basically first combo, only the first combo, because if he gets tapped, he's losing damage buffs. if he has this many timer counts past, he's losing damage buffs, because obviously Boo tanks, the longer he's in, he's going to get weaker and weaker, because, you know, deforming, they want to stay anime accurate, given, I don't know why they did it with Boo tanks, but, you know, whatever. He was just mid on release, shit on release, not really mid, just shit. Tournament of Power Gohan, this guy was good. This guy was really fucking good. Even nowadays, right? He's not the worst. He's definitely fallen, but I'd say, like, compared to, like, Red Super Saiyan Blue, this guy is definitely held on, just because being a hybrid, right? He's the second best Blue hybrid unit, because Blue Trunks, he kind of synergizes decently with the green cards he can offer, because Revival Gohan and Future Gohan kind of want those. He's not terrible. He offers good support. And he's just fragile is his only problem. Not terrible unit, though. Pretty good still. EX Super Saiyan 2 Goku is actually pretty good. And Videl, actually. But not the craziest things. Red Cell. I think Red Cell has definitely been power creeped, which is unfortunate to say. But yeah, that's true. Red Cell, he's the worst survival unit by far. You could say his damage is good, but it's like, that's cool. Good for his damage, but I want someone that can also eat. And obviously a revival unit should be able to do both, but we have someone that can do both. So it's like, he was a very big test and a failed test, in my opinion. I do not think he's very good. I don't even think you can run him on most teams. Like, you can run him on regen, maybe a blast-based regen if you really want to force it. But then at that point, you have so many Zenkai blast-based regen units, you don't have to. Androids, I guess, because you don't have other options. And Future, you got Zamasu, and you don't even need a red anyways. So Cell, I definitely do think fell off from when he dropped, because when he released, who the fuck knew about, like, Revival's the first thing that came out? This is the first unit. So I was like, what the fuck do we do? Then people kind of like, oh, he just hits hard, but it's not like the craziest amount of hard. It's not FSK hard, right? It's hard enough to warrant him being a unit, just not hard enough to warrant him being crazy. Kid Trunks, Kid Trunks. I definitely think Goten was better, easily. Yeah, Goten was definitely better, right? Goten supporting is just better than Kid Trunks. I do think Kid Trunks is decent. His strike damage is okay, pretty good actually, and his sub count manipulation up by 2, kind of like God Topo does. Allowed for Rising Rush kind of manipulation, but that's about it for him. Goten, good support, good tank, decent damage dealer, good stall unit with his green card that has blast armor. Nothing really bad about him. Just nothing absurd. He was a very good support is mainly what you kind of went for, right? Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, and then Goku Black. Well, one of these has aged gracefully, and again, will probably be the yellow cell of our time. And, of course, it's a transforming unit, by the way. But, Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. Dog shit. Dog shit on release. Dog shit now. That's it. Goku Black. Now, transforming units, you can even look back, like, just look at every single transforming unit in this game. None are ever bad on release. Maybe there's 2 candidates. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, which I don't even think he was bad. I just think he was overshadowed by Yellow Hit because they came out together. And then the red transforming base to Golden Frieza. I think he was pretty mid, pretty ass, actually, who came out with Purple Cooler, funny enough. Those were probably the only 2 mid and not even bad transforming units. Goku Black is not the exception to the rule of transforming. You look at, like, Purple Trunks, you know, Movie 13 Vegeta, anybody, literally any transforming unit was god tier on release. And Goku Black, he's going to age phenomenally because he is transforming. He's been back a million times. You probably own him. He's a great unit. There's not much else I can say. You know he's a great unit because he's still on your main Future team. Whatever how many months, 6, 7 months later, he doesn't even feel like he's aged a day. Amazing unit. Lavender, Basil, Bergamo. Lavender definitely the worst. He was the worst on release. I don't think he necessarily aged bad. It's just that he was the worst on release anyways. Basil, I think he was always just okay. I think people overrated him because people really like sucked him off because he had infinite card draw. Oh, he gets Vanish back on main and blue card and all that. Then his green card could kind of stack damage. I think in like one essence of it. And that was cool, but, I mean, was it really that crazy. No, I think he was all right. I think he's still all right. Not as good as he was. Like Blue Topo replaces him. So if you're replaced, you pretty much are saying you haven't aged that well, right? Bergamo. Every single buff this man gets, uncancelable. The main issue I have with them, and it's only one issue, and it's every unit has a, letdown, I guess you could say, besides some units, but most units have a letdown. He wants to pop his ult when 3 allies are alive, so everyone's alive, right? And that's obviously hard to do, because main abilities take a little bit to pop, and his isn't like a quick main ability. Then you also want to get a hit to build up damage, so it's like, you have to find like the fine line between, okay, I can't pop it too early so I'll do no damage, or I can't pop it too late because someone's going to be dead and it'll do less damage. Besides that, he is a slow builder, not even that slow, but he builds up slow, but he tanks great while building up. I think he's great. One of the better aging units, once again. They really know how to age units in this game. It's just that they don't know how to age teams because they power creep teams more than units. Champa, Vados, I think both have aged great. I would say Vados has aged better, not because she's actually good, or because just Gogeta Blue exists, and without Gogeta Blue, I don't even think you'd see Vados in play that much, in Revival Goku, but Vados aged perfectly from release. You still don't really notice she's old, maybe her damage, but she's not meant to damage, right? Champa, his damage is still good, goes neutral, so he can't really age badly. He fucks over card draw speed, Dragon Balls on his green, destroys enemy hand on his main, gives them all these debuffs of card cost and sustained damage up. Like, Champa's really fucking slept on. Like, I really like Champa after using him with that green Y setup. Cooler definitely aged great. Cooler, hands down, is one of the better aging. I run him on Powerful Opponent, and, I mean, Powerful Opponent doesn't even have a support unit. This guy just hits. Even against non-Super Saiyans, he just hits. Great unit. Purple Moon Vegeta, I thought he was shit on release. I still think he's shit. He can go neutral one time, but it's when he's covering, so it's like, does that neutrality even matter? Not really. No great damage. I don't think he gets more than 50% on damage inflicted buffs. Very, very bad unit. Very bad. Pride Troopers, Blue Topo, probably the best aging one, because he's a jack of all trades. He supports, he damages, he locks in, he lowers sub count. He literally does everything that you can ask for in a unit. He's great, right? There's nothing against him. He's great. Obviously better than Basil, which means they, obviously have trade aging processes with Topo aging better. Green Jiren, good. I wouldn't say he's great. His damage is still good. Could it be better? Yeah, and with actually God Topo, I do think he is replaced on, let's say, a Rival Universe team, even though God Topo's Blast base, this guy's Strike base. More or less, Rival Universe is Blast base. I know you have Purple Hit, and it's like, okay, you can run that, but Bergamo has higher Blast stats. God Topo, Kale and Caulifla, both Blast base. That team's probably a better set. Vados, Blast base. Champa, Blast base. Unfortunately, Jiren kind of got, shit on a little bit this banner, but, I mean, he needs to be replaced, right? It's been a good minute since we got a green Rival Universe unit. Dispo's Vegito Blue, but worse. So I do think he is aged pretty mid. He just isn't up to snuff with what we need. That's it. He can feint, that's cool, but anything else is just mediocre damage, and that's all he wants to do, damage. UI Goku, I think he is the worst aging LF in this game. Hands down. His stats are ass. His damage inflicted buffs aren't that crazy, given it doesn't take that long to get them. His damage inflicted buffs are never going to be crazy. It feels like you need to land a green card for him to get actual damage going, because that gives him damage buffs and card draw speed. I just feel like he's the worst aging LF in this game right now. Hands down. And having him even at 8 stars, I would never feel inclined to run this guy on God Key, on Saiyans, on Sun Family. I would never want to use him. I just don't see any value in UI Goku in his damage, and that's all he wants, right? He doesn't do anything else. Sure, you can have defense by having the UI and the obvious Vanish Gauge, but it's what do you have after that runs out? You have a unit that's squishy as hell that can't do that much damage. It's not... I think he's the worst aging LF in this game by far. Truly. And obviously I'm not referring to, Super Vegito, because that guy's fucking 3 years old at this point, right? I'm referring to LFs that are meant to be this way on release, which UI was meant to be phenomenal on release, which he was great, but now looking at him, it's like, like, what happened to you, right? Gogeta Blue, aged great. He still feels like a new unit. Red DBS Frieza, aged great. It's just that his teams aren't great, and he's not a powerful opponent because he's not a powerful opponent of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. LF Broly, I think he's aged well. I wouldn't say crazy, but well. Definitely a usable unit at this point, I guess you could call it. I think he's more reliant on your opponent making mistakes than him being good, but it's still part of his kit that if your opponent makes a mistake, he's going to be good, right? Majin Vegeta, I pulled him late, so that's why he's up here. One of the better aging LFs, funny enough, you see UI Goku, you see Majin Vegeta. Majin Vegeta, he does similar damage to LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and LF Super Saiyan 4 Goku came out, what, a month before anniversary? Majin Vegeta, great damage, great tanking, honestly, and a very good unit. Green 21 aged terribly. She was fine on release. She's just a blast demon, though. That's all she does. She has 2 cover saves. One is always there because you have it just for her innately existing, and then you get the second one by popping her main. But typically you never see it because you never get to pop her main because she's usually dead at that time, or at least someone's dead. And who are you going to sack off on an Android team? Your Green 21, your Blue 21, or your Android 18? Usually Blue 21, but if you're playing anyone with a brain, they're going to catch you in a situation where Android 18 or Green 21 is going to have to be sacked off. And you're not going to sack off your Android 18, especially when this Green 21 came out. She isn't better than Android 18. So nowadays, you don't use her because Super 17 exists. She has aged terribly because of that. Green Future Gohan, do I really have to say it? He's phenomenal. Like, you guys know this. He's one of the best units in the game. He's aged probably... He got like a glow up with FSK, Revival Gohan, all these hybrids coming. Like, you just understand how busted he is if you play against hybrids at least like 5 times. Like, just crazy. Launch, I do think is very good. It's just that, again, the game power creeps teams more than units. I've had Launch 1v3 because her green card 3 times restored, well, switches out. And basically when you switch out, you get your Vanish back. She can do that 3 times when she's last man standing. That's pretty good, isn't it? I think it's pretty good. Yamcha, he can lock in after the combo ends. Like, if they tap attack you, then you tackle them. Boom! You have a Rising Rush, because they're locked in, because every single time he's hit, I believe, he locks in for, what, 5 counts or something like that? 5 or 3 counts, something like that. It gives you enough time to do your little combination, right? Yeah, we're going to go through these quicker. Red Coat Vegeta, by the way, I saw him, I just didn't acknowledge him. I didn't think he was good on release. He's not good now. That's it. He's a good health bench. Kid Buu, phenomenal. Not much to say. Just phenomenal. You know that. Angel Vegeta, second best support unit in the game behind Vados. We knew that on release. Maybe he was a little slept on release, but, I mean, he's just aged better and better and better as more Saiyans drop and they buff Saiyan Tag, because that's obviously Vegeta's home and abode. Rising Battle Buu, I think he does okay blast, but he does nothing else. And he falls off, like, quicker than Buu tanks, I'm pretty sure, so. Not good. Yellow Broly, a joke. Good Z ability, but a joke. Purple DKP, I think people respected him, and I would feel like, on release, he was good. I think he's gone... I guess he hasn't moved. I guess he's still just good. Just good. Like, nothing crazy. Red Trunks, I never liked them, and I think they're okay, like barely okay, but they don't do enough to warrant being on any team, so don't think they've aged that well. LF Rose, strike-based future is his home and abode, and if you get him there, you'll see his age be pretty perfect, at least if he's 6 stars, which I know it's an LF, it's hard, but it is possible. Purple Hit, he aged well. Yeah, Revival Goku aged great. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he's in that boat with UI Goku with one of the worst aging LFs, but we'll see how he goes. He hasn't aged out that much. Compared to UI, I do think Super Saiyan 4 Goku is easily better. 17 and 18. 17 obviously is better. I mean, his green card is crazy. His lock-in blue card is crazy. Like, let's say you missed the blue card intentionally. well, then you have a Rising Rush for your opponent because they can't swap out because that's a lock-in for 2 timer counts. Or increased sub count, rather, by 2 timer counts. Pretty good on that, isn't it? 18 is basically LF Broly, but worse. Literally the same thing. Every single time she does a card, more damage inflicted, more damage inflicted, more damage inflicted. But she can't get Super Saiyan buffs, obviously, like LF Broly. So she kind of lacks in the department of overall damage, and that's all she wants to do, right? She's an okay support, I believe, but nothing crazy. I think she's actually Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta's best support, but you're not going to really run them together on most teams. The free Gokus, just to one-word them. The first one, okay. Second one, eh. Third one, well, Super Saiyan 2. Good main ability. Third one, well, Super Saiyan 3, rather. What does he have? 60 counts of good damage, and then he falls off. Super Saiyan God Goku, actually probably the best one by a mile. He compared to LF Beerus, numbers of damage, in my opinion. Given, obviously, he doesn't have the utility of Beerus, but damage-wise, he compared to LF Beerus. And God Key Green does not have strong damage, so I took that, and I was happy with that. And then Purple Super Saiyan Blue, mediocre. So to look at Anniversary, this is where I want to kind of cut it here, because, you know, obviously nobody else has aged this badly. I do think this Anniversary is going to have the most aging units. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is going to age terribly. Nova's going to age terribly. He's already been power creeped. Red Kefla's already been power creeped. I mean, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, if you really count GT, is he power creeped? You can run him, but Super 17 is just better. Purple VB, you don't need to run him. There's going to be another Purple God Key, so that's 4 units already. Ice, you have Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku. There's 5 units from the Anniversary already power creeped, and then Zamasu, the only one really standing here. There's no other Red God Key unit, but I feel like Zamasu could easily be power creeped. It's just pretty easy to see. And then, I guess, to go over Ultras, because Ultra Goku and Ultra Vegeta are right there. Ultra Goku, Red Gogeta exists, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta exists. If you're really fishing for Z abilities, you could run this guy for like a Saiyan team, but you just have better units in other red units, so. On release, he wasn't that great. On now, he's not that great. Vegeta was very good when we looked at him on first release, at least damage-wise. Again, he's going to be squishy. It's just how it is. Free-to-play units typically are squishy, like maybe besides Android 21, but she's the best free-to-play unit we've ever had in the Zenkai. Ultra Vegeta is squishy. He does good damage. He still does good damage. Nothing about him is that impressive or hurtful. Maybe his tanking, but I mean, it's a free-to-play unit. I always just kind of feel like free-to-play units will never tank as great as they could, right? And I guess to go over Trunks and Gohan and Bojack, because they are 3rd anniversary, technically. Trunks is already aged out. Trunks will not age well. Maybe Z ability he'll age well. But Trunks, I see no usage of him even now, and he's relatively new, right? Red Bojack will age perfectly. Transforming units always do. Obviously, Revival Gohan is in that same boat. Red Bojack does crazy damage, crazy tanking, sub count down by 5, and with any Revival unit, that basically means you can't rush Red Bojack if you're playing at least with half a brain cell, because your Revival is on your team, and it just counters that out. Because obviously, if they try to rush your Red Bojack, 5 counts down, go to your Revival Gohan, go to your Revival this unit whenever the next Revival unit comes out, boom, you're fine. And obviously red and purple pair well together because color synergy. Then Revival Gohan, yeah, he's going to age terribly. No. A Revival unit that gets to God tier levels of damage when he revives. Even him just being a Revival unit in itself makes him crazy. And he's going to age probably one of the best in the game, if not the best LF in the game, like without even any contest. Obviously, the more Revival LFs we get, you'll probably age a little bit worse, but if there's no, like, okay, nullifies Revival unit, I can't even fucking talk about him because I hate him so much. If there's no nullify Revival unit that comes out in, like, the future, well, this Revival Gohan's always going to age the best because the mechanic of Revival, how good his team is, even if his team falls off, you'll still get movies for him, and movies will always be a good tag, especially with 2022 movie. They're going to buff movies more, and in that movie, it seems like Pan plays an important role, and Pan is a hybrid, so guess what? More hybrid buffs coming, so he's always going to age well. This is a long one. Holy shit. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think I am wrong, correct, or, I don't know, in between with the aging of these units? I do think, for the majority, second-year units up until third year have aged great. Like, you see a lot of second-year units still run. A lot more than third-year units. Obviously, third year kind of just ended, and, you know, now we're in it. But you obviously see more second-year units that have aged gracefully than it seems third-year units so far, and yet it just started. Now, I do think Topo actually will age pretty well, but besides that, a lot of these units that are already just released now, I don't see aging that great. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.